Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Okay, this time I want to have a little look at Batgirl. This is Batgirl 16 and 18 from 2001 from DC Comics. I just go into depth on one of them. It was written by Kelly Puckett, with pencils by Damion Scott, and inks by Robert Campanella. Okay, we all know Batgirl. Batgirl is the name of several masked vigilante characters from DC Comics as a female counterpart to Batman and Robin and part of the Bat family. The first version was Betty Kane, introduced in 1961, created by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldoff. The second version was Barbara Gordon, daughter of Commissioner Gordon, and she is the iconic Batgirl. Debuting in Detective Comics 359 in 1967, created by Gardner Fox and Carmine Infantino, and she was created specifically for the TV series. But they introduced her in the comics first. Okay, Huntress briefly donned the bat cowl in 1999. Then, the one we're going to look at here is Cassandra Cain. She's the daughter of assassins David Cain and Lady Shiva. Lady Shiva was, of course, created by Denny O'Neil and introduced in the Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter series back in the 70s. See, and she dons the mantle of the Bat, and she's the first to get her own title, which is she was created just for the title. Get her own comic book title in 2000, which ran through 2006. Then she became a villain, heading up the League of Assassins. So, other than my research, I know almost nothing about this version of Batgirl. I remember it at the time, and I think I may have read one or something. I just did not like it, and I recently got these two, so I thought I'd give it another look and see what I thought. And it is horrible. That's why I don't know how this series ran as long as it did. I don't know how long this writer and artist was actually on this title, but I think Kelly Puckett and Damion Scott were at least from the beginning up until this point. So, which is a year and a half. So they were probably there doing it for a couple of years. Okay, and Kelly Puckett, an American comic writer, primarily known for writing on Batman-related titles at DC, as well as some other characters. But it's the Bat titles that he's probably best known for, and the largest volume of his work. And Damion Scott, he is a graduate of, he's the artist, the penciler, graduate of the Joe Kubert School. And he has a studio, I guess now he lives in Tokyo, in Japan. Has a studio in Tokyo, and he did. I guess he did a lot for some of the other Bat titles too. But he publishes a Japanese comic called Saturday Morning Cartoons, which I know absolutely nothing about. And looking in here, he is a skilled, adequate, and more than adequate, skilled draftsman. His backgrounds and the details and stuff are great. His visual storytelling sucks, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. And I hate his grotesque expressionistic stylization of the characters and the figures, and so much of what he does that I've seen here is terrible visual storytelling, as far as I'm concerned. I can't really tell a lot of what's going on, which is probably why he's so big, so successful in Japan, because I think his storytelling, maybe a lot of his visual storytelling, is derived from the Japanese manga, and so he's doing that type of visual storytelling, and especially in action sequences in manga as well as in his own stuff, I have a hard time telling what's going on. You just know it's action, but I don't know what's happening. So we'll take a brief look here. In number 16, this is okay. And at first I was thinking, how could Kelly Puckett? Because he did so many good things. How could he? Because I'm familiar with him, with his work, and he was a good writer. So how could he write something so terrible? Well, I don't think it's his writing. I think it's the visual storytelling and the page layout, etc. That is the downfall, rather than his writing. And I don't begrudge Damion Scott his success at all, because if he has a devoted audience for his artwork, that is fine. I'm just saying, I don't know how, because you can't tell what's going on half the time, more than half the time. And it starts off, what's a rat in flight? No, it's a bunch of street kids caught some rats, and see here you can see great cityscape background. The deal, it's great, and they're tossing rats up in the air, and they're making like bets on how they do and such. When they throw them way up in the air, and then they go splat on the ground, because they've got a circle on the ground to see if they're going to land in the spot. Another kid's going to do one, tosses the rat up in the air, and it doesn't come down. But Batgirl swinging by has caught it. This is the Cassandra Cain Batgirl. I thought she was mute, but I guess she just had some language problems, and she's gradually learning to speak, and she never learned to read, or at least not English. Learning to speak English, because she had, and the other issue, she speaks a little bit. And the kids take off. One kid stays behind, and she says, "I'm sorry," and here she speaks a little bit, and he gets her. Ask her to follow him home to his dumpy little apartment where he lives alone with his dad, and the dad's not home. And he says, "I think my dad's going to do something bad. Can you stop him? He took some guns with him, and they're going to this place." And she says, "Read it," because she can't read English apparently. And he tells her it's a bank. Then to go to the Gotham Bank. Gotham Federal Bank, and the guys are outside just getting ready to go in and rob the place, when a guard comes out, because he sees them loitering and sees them, the guy waving a gun around, comes out, and the guy blasts the guard, kind of like reflexively. And, "Oh, cool guy." Then they walk in, and they're right behind him is their gang leader, and they're going in. But the guy who shot the guard, oh my gosh, it's Jake. He's the guy who shot the guard, and he is like horrified what he did. They get in there, they're in there, and they're robbing this, hauling the stuff away. So just the cash, don't take anything else. And one of the guys, Tony, said, starts asking him something, and then he blows Tony away. This is the leader, and it turns out, well, he had stuffed his coat with a bunch of jewelry and stuff, and says all that stuff is traceable, and it could lead back to us. That's why just the cash. Where's Jake? And Jake had skipped out. He's horrified of what he did. He took off, threw his gun, And now this part, this is a decent. It's a little still a little difficult to read, but this is a decent sequence of visual storytelling. Now, if the rest of it was that good, it would be fine, even though I don't like the stylization. But this is an exception, not the rule, as I see it, anyway. A couple of other of his buddies had come out to find him. There he is in an alley, and they're gonna says, "I did something wrong. I gotta pay." And the other guys are going to blow him away, but Batgirl gets there, and we can't see what she does too well, but she takes him out. And the guy says, "Well, I killed a man. I need to pay." Since what about your son? I said, "Son, I don't have a son." I said, "Tim? Oh, that's Chaco's kid. That's the ringleader. It's his kid." So it's not what she thought. But they're in there hauling the money out, and she gets in there and starts beating them down, one after the other. Boom, 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 taking them out. They're being hauled off at the end by the cops, and there's Tim. She says, "Let's go home," because her dad is being hauled off to prison. He says, "My dad, he's bad, isn't he?" And here's another bit of really good visual storytelling, I think, right there. Now, I think the story upon rereading it, I think the story the story itself was good, and the art had its moments in the visual storytelling. I just hate the stylization, and for the most part, his visual storytelling is not that good as far as I'm concerned. You can see it here in number 18. That was 16. This is number 18. It has a sequence in which starts off with, this is a nightmare dream sequence, so of course it's not going to be very, very good. Again, you can really see his really nice draftsmanship, perspective. I mean, that is a beautiful cityscape. It is just the stylization of the figures and the visual storytelling is just atrocious. Now here that looks like a very nice, very well composed and illustrative panel right there. But those are the exceptions, in my opinion. And Batgirl is investigating one thing, and Robin's investigating something else, and they meet in the middle because there are two investigations linked together. I'm not going to go into all the stuff. That's it. Now I like that shot of Robin. I do like that, although he looks so much younger than he should be. This is, I believe, it's the Tim Drake version of Robin, but otherwise I can't really tell what's going on that page. Now these two panels here, I think that's good, where you see her dodging the bullets and stuff. That's visually, that's good. It's a good bit of storytelling. The rest of it, I can't tell. There she is, standing over a bunch of bodies. Everyone's all knocked out. They go someplace else. Some more shooting. Some more beat up the bad guys. And even Cassandra Cain, she looks, except for her more mature figure, she looks like she's supposed to be about 12 or 13. And I don't know how young she's supposed to be. I gather she's in her late teens. And Tim Drake Robin is supposed to be, I think, about 15 or so. 15, maybe 16. And he looks 10. But it's just the overall stylization and the visual storytelling that I do not like. Now, for a bit of comparison, here we have this. This is from a special variant cover from Fan Expo. This was a reprint. It's a great what's her name? Harley Quinn cover. Although she looks pretty young there. She looks like she's a teenager, and she's supposed to be, well, she's a psychiatrist. She'd have to be at least in her 30s. And This is also written by Kelly Puckett, but drawn by Mike Parobeck. This is a reprint of Batman Adventures from I forgot. Now I've forgotten what year it was originally from, but this is but this printing was from 2022, but this was from 93. Really from 1993. So this is an early Batman Adventures, and it's an early appearance of Harley Quinn, and that's probably the whole reason why, because Harley Quinn is real popular. So, and she's in the story, but Batman's out of town. Batgirl is in town. I'm not going to go into the details of the story, but you get it's a much more pleasing, visually pleasing, even though it's stylized for the show stylization. The visual storytelling is, I think, vastly superior. You can actually tell what's going on in the action, and such like. And it's the same writer, so I know. I don't think the downfall in that Batgirl series is to Kelly Puckett's story, his writing. Of course, no one writes everything great, but that's that. And I've already taken longer than I thought I would, but that's all I've got to talk with you about here with this series, Batgirl series. And these are going bye-bye, and I'm not going to get any more because that series sucked. Now, I've always said okay, in comics and the like, it says the story is the thing. Said, and a good story can be ruined by bad art, and I think that's what happened here with this series. As some fine writing that is ruined by some atrocious artwork. He has his moments. I don't begrudge him his skill and success. It's just that the stylization of his artwork and the storytelling is atrocious. So it can also say, I've also seen where some bad or poor writing has been saved by good art. Well, this is where you have some good or at least decent writing spoiled by bad artwork. So that's all I've got for you this time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do leave a comment. Tell me which version of Batgirl do you like best. Did you like this particular series of Batgirl? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.